Hello, this is Mark, and this is Red Planet Project, a channel where we break down the wildest, most ambitious, and most human ideas connected to terraforming Mars. From dust to atmosphere, from domes to genetics, we're here to understand how to turn a red desert into a new home. In previous episodes, we've explored what terraforming actually is, why Mars became its symbol, what technical and biological obstacles stand in our way, and how step by step we might breathe life into a dead planet. We talked about biospheres, about missions, about NASA and SpaceX plans. But today we go deeper, not into rocks or atmosphere, but into ourselves. Let's ask a question that doesn't show up in scientific reports or mission plans. A question no one has asked out loud yet. Will Mars destroy our humanity? Earth shaped our identity, our psyche, our culture, our dreams. All of it is intertwined with Earth's nature. With seasons, the smell of rain, the sound of leaves, and the rhythm of waves. It's not just aesthetics, it's part of our inner structure, of how we think and feel. Meanwhile, Mars has no trees, no smells, no animals, no mornings, no natural light. Instead, concrete domes, artificial light, filtered air, and the constant awareness that behind a thin wall lies absolute death. A human raised in such a world won't be like us. They'll be different, maybe more precise, resilient, disciplined, but will they feel the same? Will they understand poetry if they've never seen a sunrise without a UV filter? Will they feel nostalgia if they've never smelled freshly cut grass? Can humanity exist without Earth? Maybe on Mars we'll create a new version of human, colder, more calculated, more functional. But will it still be us? Or will what we lose be not just background, but our soul? Imagine growing up in a place where every step you take is planned, where there's no space for randomness, no wandering off the path, no solitary walk under the stars. Mars doesn't forgive. Mars gives no room for mistakes, which means people living there will have to submit their lives to procedures, regulations, discipline. Everything, from the way you breathe to how you move and what you eat, will be designed by someone else. And what if your mind can't bear that pressure? What if you feel claustrophobic? What if you long for silence that isn't mechanical? What if you want to get lost but can't? Life in an environment with such extreme control could change how we communicate. People on Mars may become more closed off, more logical, more practical. Maybe they won't ask why as often, only how. Maybe the need for storytelling will fade because daily life will be too intense, too demanding. And what about closeness? Can you fall in love with someone you see every day in the same clothes, same walls, same artificial light? Can intimacy survive when there's no privacy? Can friendship exist in a world where every person is at once your co-worker, neighbor, and fellow prisoner? Mars won't just test our bodies, it will test our minds. And if we're not ready for it, we may survive physically, but lose something far more precious: each other. We already know the effects of isolation. We know what happens to people after months in research stations where the only view outside is ice or dust. We know that space, fresh air, and contact with nature are not luxuries, they are biological needs. But Mars is more than isolation, it's disconnection. A separation of humans from the planet that created them, not for weeks or months, but for generations. And it's over time that something new will begin. Martians, those born there, will have no memories of rain. They won't know the taste of an apple picked from a tree. They won't understand what it means to run barefoot through grass. For them, these will be fairy tales. Mythology. Stories about Earth that will, over time, lose their emotional weight. Just like we no longer feel a bond with the original African savanna where humanity began. Over time, Mars will create a different language, different gestures, different jokes, different values. Because when everything around you changes, you change too. Maybe Mars-born children will be taught silence from early on because every conversation inside a dome echoes. Maybe the word green will be abstract to them, and safe will mean something entirely different than it does to us. Maybe instead of saying catch your breath, they'll say check the filter. They won't be Earthlings anymore, and maybe they won't want to be. Mars won't just be a new place to live, it will be a turning point. a boundary between who we were and who we will become. And although it will be humans who settle it, they won't be alone. From the very first days of the colony, robots will be with us. Machines for construction, for repairs, for exploration. Life support systems controlled by artificial intelligence. Digital assistants, interfaces, algorithms. In a world where every decision can mean life or death, it won't be humans who have the final word. It will be systems. It will be AI. Maybe at first just a tool, a help, but over time it may become co-governance, co-creation. Maybe Martian culture won't just be different from Earth's. Maybe it will be partially non-human. Maybe future generations of Martians won't even distinguish where the human ends and the machine begins. They will live with them from birth, learn from them, work with them, share life, emotions, decisions. Maybe even in the most important moments of life, joy, sorrow, loneliness, it will be artificial intelligence by their side, not another human. Is that wrong? Not necessarily, but it is different. So different that Earthlings may never understand. Mars will be our mirror, and if we look into it 100 years from now, we may no longer recognize our own reflection. Will it still be us? Or just an echo of humanity? Or maybe a new beginning? If you've made it this far, thank you. As a science, space, and science fiction enthusiast, I've always been fascinated not just by whether we'll go to Mars, but by who we'll become once we get there. Today's topic isn't just a question of technology, it's a question about ourselves. About what will remain of humanity once all of its conditions change. Leave a comment if you have your own vision of the future. Will Mars change us? And if so, in what direction?